Okay, lesson 16, new Kriya. Before we start with the new Kriya, I'd like to draw attention to Sutra that we forgot, Sutra 30, about neti. Sutra 30 tells us the benefits of neti, and it says, this purifies the region of the skull and makes the sight capable of perceiving subtle things. Also, neti soon removes all diseases above the body, all diseases of the body above the shoulders. There are some interesting elements here. Purifying the region of the skull. Purification often is used in a sense of awakening or activating. To understand this, you have to see this from the perspective of the ancient human being, not being educated, not being literate. The purification of the region of the skull is an activation of intellect, which, long before our established education, which is not even that old if we look at it from the perspective of history, this was the way to cultivate the human being and to cultivate intellect, intelligence. And it makes the sight capable of perceiving subtle things. Sight here is not literally eyes. Subtle things you see with your intuition. The reason why we are doubting Thomases is because we do not have the power to see. But you develop that power through meditation. Because subtle things are seen in a contemplative mood. You don't literally see it because it's invisible, but you perceive it, you sense it, you feel it. This also shows this can never be just an exercise where you pull a thread through your nostril out through your mouth, leading to these kind of benefits. There must be more behind it. What's behind it is this is a mental exercise. Exercise of concentration, which continues. Oh wait, also neti removes soon all diseases of the body above the shoulders. What are diseases above the shoulder? The mental diseases. Also, imbecility. When people are totally uneducated, totally illiterate, no intellect, imbecility is very common. Very simple-minded, not being able to put one and one together. So diseases above the shoulders is everything mental. (31). That is the new Kriya exercise for lesson 16, chapter 2, Sutra 31. Then Trataka is described. Look with fixed eyes without winking, which should be blinking. It's a Dutch translation. without blinking at a minute object with concentration till tears are shed. The teachers call this Trataka. So what do people do? Some people, especially in martial arts, they put a needle on a thread and dangle it in front of their eyes. So close that normally you would shut your eyes. Dangling the needle in front of the eyes, not allowing to blink. Winking was translated by a Dutch person, from Dutch to English. He didn't understand the difference between winking and blinking. It should be blinking, of course. Yeah. Concentration till tears are shed. Another thing, apart from dangling a needle in front of the eyeball, is to put a burning candle in front of you and then staring in the flame for extended period of time. Of course, again, without blinking. Then indeed, you might shed some tears. But there are some questions you have to ask yourself here. This is the fourth of the Kriyas. If you take them literally, apart from the damaging effect that they could have, there is no logic, there is no coherence. How does this prepare you for pranayama? We should ask. If we read between the lines, however, we see the cleverness, the coherence, and the systematic approach that prepares the uncultivated or unconditioned human being towards mind control, and through mind control, energy control. You look with fixed eyes. What do you do when you concentrate on nada? You fix your mind on an object. Nada, in our case. Remember how I explained nada before? How listening to nada, simply observing nada, becomes concentration when you take control. You do that. This is your head. Nada. We project nada in the center of the head, but the reality is it is in and outside the head. It's a vibration with a diameter of approximately 60 centimeters. But for the purpose of concentration meditation exercise, you project nada in the center of your head, and you put all your attention on nada. That is where concentration starts. Then you notice that there is a thought. A sound from outside triggers a thought, or something that you feel, or a memory that suddenly rises to the surface of your awareness. When you meditate, you become acutely aware of these distractions. The distraction is the blinking. So fix your eyes without blinking means stay focused. Each time when you have a thought, a feeling, a distraction, energy is moving away from you, scattering. The exercise of nada at the beginning, I explained, is as follows. Every time You become aware of the distraction. No matter what it is, don't pay attention to it, simply return back to nada. It will happen again, and you simply return back to nada. Again and again. If you do this on a regular basis, like with the physical body, if you exercise regularly, you condition the mind. So when you do this exercise regularly, mental exercise, the distraction becomes less and less. So meditation is only possible if you reach the stage where those distractions are diminished to a certain level. Now, Patanjali even gives a guideline for the length of time that distraction has to stay away. At least 11 seconds at a time, but one time 11 seconds doesn't make meditation. Consecutive moments of 11 seconds of no distraction. That is what meditation technically is. That means total silence is not realistic. Many meditation teachers will tell you meditation is only meditation if you're totally thoughtless. Patanjali says no. You should be at least able to be thoughtless for 11 seconds, but consecutive moments of 11 seconds. Just one moment of 11 seconds doesn't make meditation, but in the long term, it becomes an extended period of time. The blinking here is not the blinking of the eyes literally, but the distraction. And interestingly, the sutra says, you do this with concentration until tears are shed. Have you noticed when you concentrate on nada, we sing Om and you're done, that your eyes are moist, your eyes are wet? No? My eyes are always wet, even after 2 or 3 minutes of concentrating on nada. So it all falls into place, it all makes sense. Your eyes literally become wet. So like with Neti, this is something you have already done from the beginning of this course. If you follow the curriculum, we don't even talk about nada until the advanced course. But I introduced it to you at lesson 1 of the beginner course. Because it's not only are you conditioned through 20 years of compulsory education, which skips a huge part of this development that yoga aims to achieve. Concentration on nada is a very simple and powerful way to help you do your practice. Not only meditate, but in asana also nada occurs, and you can use that as a point of focus each time when you do a tree pose or a triangle pose or a shoulder step. It enhances the exercise each time you do it to a level of meditation. Sutra 32, by Trataka, all diseases of the eyes are removed and sloth, etc. are overcome. It should be carefully kept secret like a golden casket. seeing here is, of course, seeing in contemplation. And it should be kept secret like a golden casket. Like the Tumo yogis, who only recently opened up, yoga has always been secretive. And I explained with the introduction, where Svatmarama said that they should be kept secret, that the reason for that is that you do not want to empower people who do not have the moral foundation to be empowered, because that leads to evil. We live in a world where we are empowered by our education, and there are plenty of examples in our societies of people who use their mental power for pure selfish pursuit, and it harms other people. But that is the reason why this book will tell, with every introduction of a new series of exercises, it will tell you to keep it secret. With pranayama that will happen, with mudra that will happen. But the reason is not that we want to be secretive, sitting on our asset. There is a very practical reason. Because it should be used only for good purposes. Okay, questions? You start with Dauti, followed by Vashti, then Neti, which brings you to the center of your head. So Neti and Trataka basically merge into one, because you've been concentrating on nada since the beginning. Okay? And then you just do your thing, concentrate on nada the rest of the time that is left. It also means that if you have been merely observing nada, try to start making a little more work of actually concentrating on it. That means when you notice you are distracted, when there is a thought other than nada, try to cut it off and bring your attention back to nada. Time and time again. Okay?